2 a.m. in the car playing our favorite song. Turn it up, windows down, we sing along. The summer night has just begun. The moon is bright, let's have some fun. Oh, this is everything, with you right next to me. So alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go.
Say hello, let me know where you're from.
Calling sick in the morning, baby, don't leave.
And hello. How are you guys? How is everyone? If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Holly Lee. I am a career coach. The intent of my live streaming twice a week for you. Hang on, right here. Every Tuesday, let me remove my name. Every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Today, same time, same day, free coaching to answer all of your Amazon. I'm getting a lot of Amazon. Not that I wanted to only brand Amazon, but I'm only attracting people who are interviewing at Amazon for some reason, as well as Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. for my EMEA, European folks, Asia folks who cannot make it to my afternoon, and that is for my YouTube member. If you don't know what that is, simply click the giant join button right next to this video and all of my video. So in today's topic, in full disclosure, I just came back from the dental office again with my crown replacement. So I will be talking a little funky today. I don't have a pre-planned webinar like I would every single day. But look, check this out. I moved into my new office space. How are you guys liking this? I feel like I have a lot more room now to move around and not be pushed in a corner. Okay. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. If you do that, YouTube, not me, will notify you when I come on and do some live stream for you twice a week, every single week. And really exciting news is that I am now in Clubhouse. If you have no idea what I mean by Clubhouse, it is audio coaching or real time on iOS. So for all of you guys, let me tell you guys a little secret here. Come closer, come on closer. If you're looking for employment, and let me tell you this, I'm brand spanking new on Clubhouse, okay? I don't really know how to use the app yet, but I can tell you this. I have hosted and co-host twice in 2 weekends on the road on the weekend. What are you doing in the afternoon on Saturday? Come hang out with me 3 p.m. on Saturday. I will answer all of your branding questions so that you can land job interviewed with all the FANG company, not just Amazon. And the folks who are jumping on, if you look at the cool thing about Clubhouse on mobile app is when you look at their profile, just like this, look at the screen, the chat screen as I'm going live, you can literally click on someone's name and bring their profile up. How cool is that? So if you are interested in my talk with, let's just say, Bear in the Wild, and you really love Bear's background, you wanted to connect with her, either A, you wanted to hire her, you want to network with her, whatever that reason is, I'm trying to attract like-minded folks. My passion is to simply help as many people in general, but specifically diversity people. Diversity, why? Hello, right here. Check this out. Look at me right here. Look at all the amazing people that comes into my live stream, my pay YouTube member. Thank you so much. You guys are the reason why my channel and my business is booming. If you missed my most recent post on LinkedIn, I genuinely care about your background to see if I can work with you before I start working with you. Okay. So Clubhouse, if you are truly in the job market or you're really struggling in landing connection with like-minded people, you want to jump on my talk. And I would be more than happy to pull you in stage. There's a lot of my pay member that's been following me for the last 6 months since I have come back and start streaming for you guys every single week. Okay. If I see your name, I will invite you on stage. What does that mean to you? That means I want you to ask any questions you want, like this. How cool is that? Think about YouTube and LinkedIn combined, where you and I are just going to have a phone conversation on there, on stage, and you will find that everyone who asks questions are in similar situation. It's going to help you with your confidence. It's going to help you with networking. Even the people who jumped on in my chat room, you can network with like-minded people and kind of learn from one another. And my goal for 2021 is to build out diversity community through all of my social platform. I know that many of you have followed me from LinkedIn, so thank you, LinkedIn. I love you. I don't know how my life would be without LinkedIn and YouTube. I look at this. Check out my T-shirt. This is from one of the content creator. It's literally Eat Sleep YouTube, or actually Eat Sleep Star. It's more of my thing. So the reason why I'm streaming and I'm still scared shitless every single time I stream, by the way, I still am. I still am. I don't know. I just can't get rid of it because I care. Because I'm so frantic that the audio may fall apart like it has been so many times when I started my earlier on of 2020 when I first started streaming. Everything will fall apart. So once things don't work out, and I, as a coach and as someone coming from a true talent acquisition or recruiting background, I don't like wasting people's time. So when things are falling apart, I get very frantic. That means I care. I care to be here on time, to answer all of your questions. But if you have questions outside of Amazon, let's be honest, it gets me very, very exciting because I can talk about Amazon, which is my longest employment, where I was an interview trainer there. I grew up as a senior recruiter. I lead a team, and then I led an international global team for them. Most recently, I work for Facebook and I work for Microsoft and so on and so forth as well. So please do ask me questions around all the employer. I'm very greedy, you see. I wanted to help you not only land job interviewed, but get offer from all of those companies, because you should never put all your eggs in one single basket. Okay. Now, I have one more thing to share with you. And you know that I've spent a lot of hours reading through all of my messages, specifically on my LinkedIn platform. Here's the thing. You guys know that you came here because you value my rawness. Thank you for those. I'm a cup of tea for you because I'm not a cup of tea for a lot of people. I think as a career coach, someone who has really been in the industry for over 20 years, I don't want to share things with you that's not relevant. So I want to be as real as possible. And here's my biggest ultimate pet peeve. Biggest pet peeve for those of you who reaches out to me, and the one thing is I get so many of you that says, Holly, I watch your video, I become your YouTube member, can you please review my LinkedIn profile, jump on a quick call for me, give me a quick tip? And you wrote me literally pages and pages of stuff reviewing your resume. Like, listen, I am here, folks. If you missed this link, twice a week for you all. Twice. 2 hours each. If that is not good enough, by the way, $3.99 a month to join my community is practically free. On top of that, you also get right here, which is Clubhouse. I'm at hollylee.co, by the way, just because I'm not creative and I can't think of another username that's not ticking. But I'm there every single weekend in additional, so that I can hear your voice and give you real-time feedback. So if you're going to reach out to me on LinkedIn, which I would love to check your background out, I do it anyway, but I don't have time to give you feedback unless you just want me to throw something out there just so that I can respond to you. Okay. So with that in mind, if you reach out to me, please be very thoughtful with your questions. I'm happy to help you, but a lot of what you're asking me is already on here. And one really important key, this here, let me move this side a little bit. I put this together for you guys. This is on every single one of my YouTube video now. Look how clean that is. It says step 1, click on my channel. Step 2, click on playlist. Click 3. These are the top, these people right here. Number 1 reason why over 400 people land an Amazon job offer, and multiple offer, and even offers from Apple, from Google, from eBay, from KPMG, from consulting companies, from startup, from any size you want to, is off of that playlist. Okay. I don't want to give you the direct link because my link generally broke from third party, so on and so forth. So this is so clear and so crisp. You follow step 1, 2, 3. I promise you, my approach has proven to work because hundreds of people have landed a job offer. And I'm trying to invite some of them to come back here because they are in, as I mentioned earlier, European or EMEA, JPEG as well, and throughout Asia. So this is super early for them or extremely late for them. I want them to come here so we can celebrate their Amazon job offer or their Google job offer so you guys can get inspired and motivated. Okay. Right there, that list, I'm just going to leave it there for a hot second so you guys can see that I'm being very, very serious. That list has a lot of this. One of my former client who also landed a job offer, by the way, if you're here, Cliff, I thought I saw your name in the corner of my eye. He shared this with me, and this is a very good graph for you to think about as you are creating your story and storytelling. Okay. The top graph is just how normally we should be telling a story from start to end. That's what the interviewer is expecting, by the way. And the bottom part is how I tell a story, which is 99.999% of the people. I have not had a single customer. It doesn't matter if they are senior level or if they are executive from any of the FANG company, even that are able to answer a very basic question, guys. Tell me about yourself. What would you like to do, John Doe? Nothing. They got nothing for me. Worse, Holly, I'm ready to retire. I just want to work for Amazon, make my money, get in and get out. I'm like, okay, you and I have a lot of work to do. So let's start going here. You see where I'm going? So whatever that you guys are going through and struggling, I don't want you to feel intimidated because you have landed a job interview with the FANG companies or interested with the FANG companies because everybody is in the same shoe. Even those that are at the FANG company, I also have a couple of those as a customers. They're also going through the same thing and don't understand why they can't get from here and then get promoted from here. Okay. So with that said, I'm ready to say hello to you guys. By the way, if you all can hear me, please do say yes. You got a job offer, Angela! Woohoo! Wait, where's my bell? Oh, yes, Angela. Thank you so much for coming in and announcing the job offer. Good for you. Good for you. There's about 8 or 9 people who literally wrote me and tell me they have an Amazon job offer yesterday. True story, guys. London Leader. Hello, my fellow pay YouTube member. Anna Oliver. Good to see you again. Bear. RK. Ancasio. If I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, please do correct me. Kasia, you made it. Hungry for employment. How are you? Valerie, hello. Valentina, I love the fact that some of you guys landed a job offer and you continue supporting my channel and showing up for the community. Thank you. You have no idea how much that means to the community because, guys, we're still going to be, you guys know that I like to say things like it is. And when I do share facts and statement, you know I've done my homework. Yeah. I know for a fact that for any time that we go through a recession, it's going to take us time to bounce back. In 2009, it took us nearly 10 years to bounce back. Now, this time, it's not going to take us 10 years. Let's be real here. But people are at least having jobs, working remotely, and depending on your background, like the cloud company of the world, all the cloud company, and not just Amazon, the Microsoft, the VMware Cloud, the Salesforce. You see where I'm going here? So there's a lot of job opportunity. And I would say that it takes about another 2 more years for the market to fully ramp up. 2 more years, meaning that the startup and all the mid-sized company are starting to hire it back to normal business. But for now, a lot of the top tech companies, even though they're not FANG companies such as a Netflix, they're hiring like crazy right now. Okay, so this is a great time for you to show up to my live stream every week and ask me questions that can add value to where you are at right now. Please do tell me where you are from, what position you're interviewing for, or where do you want to get to. So the more information you're willing to share with me, the more relevant that I can provide as far as feedback to you. That way I'm not making things up and no one wants me to make things up. Okay. How are you, London? I feel like I haven't seen you for a while because for the longest time you were around for quite a bit. 1950 from Paris. How are you, my friend? All righty. Let's go with Q&A. Sankit, hello Sankit. How are you? Sankit says, "I'm from India. I want to know how many months after we are allowed to interview in Amazon after being rejected." How many months? Well, it really depending on the feedback, right? Everyone is really different. So when I say, let me redefine that. Depending on how you do and what type of feedback. If you are not a culture fit for any reason, you're probably not going to be invited back at all. Culture fit meaning that you don't demonstrate any like bias for action of ownership, and you just don't feel having enough relevant experience in a fast moving environment, then that may take a little bit longer. But if your feedback is, again, I mentioned be very specific in the role that you're interviewing for. So if you can kind of tell me what position are we talking about, that would be more relevant, Sankit. If you are a technical professional in any spectrum, and if you can't code or you don't know how to system design, then you probably won't be invited to come back for a year or two. Reason being is that not just Amazon, you guys have to keep in mind every single thing that I'm coaching you is for all company. Yeah, it's not just for Amazon, because the interview process, it's very much the same. It doesn't matter if you're a startup. Okay, you have the initial recruiter call, you have the hiring manager phone screen, and then you have the on-site loop across all of the companies. So back to you. If you are lacking behavioral questions or communication, and they're coming really close and wanting to make you an offer, but they're not sure if you can handle the fast-paced environment, it may take you 6 months. So again, it really depends on the feedback, but without knowing anything about you at all, Sankit, I can't give you a thorough answer. Okay. Andrea, hello, Andrea. How are you? You have a loop tomorrow. It's okay to be nervous, Andrea. I just mentioned um, how nervous I am every single time when I live stream because I care. I care to do well. It's okay to be nervous in your interview, but you got to ask yourself, Andrea, where would you rate yourself as far as preparation? And if you have a checklist, one, how many stories do you have? Two, how many times did you practice your story? And three, what are the type of questions that you're answering? And last and foremostly, this playlist right here that I've just shown you, boom, right here, have you actually looked through them? Because there's a template of every single thing to teach you guys how to create your story. Okay. What kind of data answer supposed to have if I'm into recruiting marketing role? What kind of data questions? When I'm thinking about hard data questions or data questions matrix in general is really how are you able to solve a problem or come up with an idea in gathering the right data? How do you dive deep into doing your market data research? There's two type of clients I have. Okay, one is they come in and they ask really intelligent questions of, this is what I've done, and I don't know if I have a relevant story, which they all do, by the way. And all I have to do is point them to the right directions. And then I have the second type of clientele or members who are specifically wanting me to write their story for them and answering for them. And that's a no, by the way. So when you're thinking about data or data driven interview questions, for example, tell me a time that you're able to solve a problem or think big picture without any data. That's the number one questions in a lot of the tech companies. It's not just marketing position, recruiting roles. It's all roles, even as an engineer. Okay. That question specifically is your ability to dive deep and think big, inventively, creatively to solve the problem. Now, it doesn't really matter how you're trying to fill the gap. It's really important for you to identify what the gap is. Let me explain what I mean by what the gap is. What the gap is meaning, what challenge are you going through and what is the objective of the problem that you're trying to solve? And how are you going to do that? So every time when we are trying to troubleshoot an issue, we wanted to make sure we find out what the root cause is, right? And where are we finding the root cause? The number one thing, guys, historical data. You need to figure out why the problem even existed, right? You need to figure out where is it coming from. So you need to work backward into peeling the different layers of onions and trying to figure out what that is and then create a plan to tackle around that. And that's where a lot of the data and matrix comes together, because you need to figure out where your not just historical data, but where your facts are coming from. And if you and I are working together, rather than giving you an answer, I would ask you 1,000 questions to force you to think big. Eventually, you will come around with it. I promise you. How are you, London? Gotham? Gotham. I have a second phone interview on Monday for a program manager role. Is it mandatory to review my salary expectation in this round? I would recommend that you take a look at this right here. This is Salary Mistake. It is a video that I put out last month. There's a lot of video like that. There's a whole playlist. There are 4 different short videos. They're about 10-minute long. It teaches you when to talk about salary, when not to talk about salary, how to identify your salary, what your worth is from your role, your geography, so on and so forth. So make sure you don't miss that out. Okay, got them? You've been preparing to answer the STAR method, but the hiring manager is from a finance background and I'm from supply chain. Will this challenge the interview? It really doesn't matter as a coach. Well, personally, I have recruited on almost every single position there is out there. That is the fact, because I've been doing it for so long. I work for 90% of the FANG company. Before that, I worked for a bunch of startups, manufacturing, scientific, all of it. So I understand the position really well. You could be interviewing and you're interviewer. And this is exactly what I am teaching to my group coaching cohort as well. You have to think your panel interview, it's not just someone with your background. You just gave me a really good example right here. If you are using the STAR method or trying to answer behavioral questions and you're coming from a supply chain background, and then your interviewer is coming from a finance background, it's irrelevant. You could have someone as a program manager, a marketing person, a product person. You see where I'm going? So the bottom line is they wanted to evaluate you based on team fit, company fit, and are you as good as other folks with that position title within their team? Okay. Even though for me, as an example, I'm in recruiting, I know nothing about finance, nothing. But if I were to interview a finance analyst or finance manager, I will know the right questions to ask them because I have experience partnering with them very closely. Okay. So that's why I emphasize and I talk so much about storytelling, and don't be so fixated in, and please don't ask me to create a video for a specific role, because at the end of the day, guys, this is no secret. They're all the same. Okay. The behavioral interview questions, one of the reasons why I highlight and talk so much about Amazon is because a lot of companies are using Amazon's interview question to a T. To a T. Okay. Now, note a lot of the things I'm sharing with you guys are also feedback that I get from my customers as well to tell me, especially the one who landed an offer from startup, mid-sized company, Apple even, Google even though Google asks a lot of hypothetical questions, but still a lot of the questions are very similar and there's 10 different ways of answering the same questions. So guys, don't waste your time and try to answer 50 to 150 questions, because a lot of you guys do that. You tell me over LinkedIn messages. Don't do that. You're wasting your time. That playlist I just showed you, got them? This right here that I just showed you, if you take a look at it, it's very to the point. And especially with the Amazon Leadership Principle playlist, I explained to you what the LPs are, what the Amazon Leadership Principle, my top 10. In those, while explaining to you, I also created questions for individual contributor as well as people manager. So that's benefiting you. So if you're interviewing for an IC position, then you should be writing down those questions. And guess where I got those questions from? The Amazon website and also Glassdoor. Okay. So I spend a lot of the time contracting a lot of the different resources, how I can add value to you. And also in every single one of my video under the description that 90% of you don't look and you all ask me the same questions. In there, you will find a link directly to the Amazon's career page. It's been there for a long time. And you're still asking me that, by the way. I get a lot of what is the Amazon leadership principle. It's also right there. It's Amazon. It's Amazon.com/jobs or career, and you can find it kabam right there. Um, the cool thing about the Amazon website, if you look at and they've done such a phenomenal job. That's why I'm so passionate to talk about Amazon and the recruiting process. Yes, I know not a lot of you guys have positive experiences with your recruiter because they are truly slam. No excuses whatsoever for them. I'm not backing them up. But the way how they structure their webpage, it's so simplistic. It walks you through how to prepare for phone screen, on-site, online assessment, leadership principle. It's everything. It's literally laid out for you guys there. And I also have the same resources on every single one of my video in the description channel. And you guys are still asking me what they are. Okay. So the right fit for an Amazon environment is someone who really take initiative, and they call it bias for action. By the way, let me know on the bottom which leadership principle are you struggling with, and I would love to explain a little bit more, or maybe giving you an example of the type of answer you should be giving based on the LP that you're struggling with. And guys, the leadership principle is actually molding you to get job offer from other companies. That is why I am so honing in on the Amazon leadership principles and its core value. Okay. It makes sense. Everybody want their employee to what? Deliver results. And then what else? To think big. Thinking big is being inventive, is being creative in finding the root cause before solving a problem. And how are they supposed to do that? That is the bias for action, okay? And in delivering results. So a lot of that will mold into your mind, not just professionally, but also personally as well, okay? Hello, Anna. How are you? Oliver, I hope you are well. Gabrielle, tomorrow morning I have my interview with the hiring manager. Please send good vibe. Woohoo! First of all, Gabrielle, congratulations for making it this far. Because the Amazon, because Amazon is getting such a high volume of candidate right now. The fact that the recruiter looked in your credential and your background stuck out to them, and you're moving to the hiring manager phone screen, that's kudos to you. So give yourself a pat on the back. Oh, Bear. Best of luck to you, Bear. Let me know how that goes, okay? Ashashio, we have an Amazonian in the house. Woo-hoo! We have a loyal community member turned, oh, I like that. Loyal YouTube community member turned Amazonian from Germany in operation. Have you started yet, Asashio? I can't remember. Sorry. I'm trying to, and let me know if you are already in my Facebook group. I know I've been slacking off here. I haven't had the chance to send an invite. So I actually do have a private Facebook group of members who have landed position at Amazon or any of the FANG company. The reason being is that there will come a time, and let's just be honest with each other here. No one really loved their job at 100%. There will come a time in that one day and one moment where you said, shoot, I'm just going to quit my job. So when that day comes, you want to be able to network and know people around you, know people in EMEA, or know people within your state, or know people international if you wanted to learn more about their culture and maybe one day relocate. So how are you going to get all those information? I am hooking you guys up with a group of Amazonian. I think it's about 55, 60-ish people right now in the private Facebook group. Of course, there's community rules that you have to follow. It's not a place where you spam. It is a place where I genuinely want to build a community where people can help each other on board in the first 30, 60, 90 days. And if you're going through any challenges, I want you to look for on a peer-to-peer level and see how you can help each other. And that's what the community is for, just like my YouTube community, okay? I know, Bear. Fingers crossed to you. Salem, how are you, Salem? Cassia, thank you for the virtual hug. Ciao, Valentina. We have multiple Amazonians in the house right now. Valerie. Hello, hello, Valerie. How are you? That's an excellent profile, by the way, especially if that is the same photo for your LinkedIn profile. Kudos. See, Dart, my loop is planned for the 6th April. I am in the last two round. I released that ad. Your message got chopped off. So, Dart, hungry for employment. Yes, you got this, Bear. You see this? This is why I love my community. Check this out. Check this out, people. Okay. It means more than the world to me. Once you land a job offer, it's great that you landed an offer at Amazon if that is your cup of tea, if that's your dream company. But as I mentioned earlier, in the beginning part, there's a lot of great companies out there. Okay. And the fact that you have landed an offer and you come back in here, it's amazing. So thank you very much for doing that and helping me inspire and motivate others to get there. Dion. Hello, Dion. How are you? Saima, you're in the house. I got my S.T.A.R Accelerator, Interview Accelerator program folks in the house. They're usually always in here, as well as the VIP cohort. Dion, I just want to say thank you for all the information. Oh, you got an offer. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Dion, for making the time and coming here. Virtual part of the, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Good luck to you, my friend. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are Amazonian and you got the benefit either from my coaching cohort or this or any part of my coaching, I would love to follow you. I would love to see what you will be building. You will be building things. Trust me, you will be. It doesn't matter if you're level 4, you will. It's an Amazon culture. Feel free to tag me on LinkedIn because I would love to read and see all the great things when you started, what group you're in. It's just my way to keep in touch with the people who are in my community so I don't lose track of who you are. And if I haven't sent you a Facebook invite, make sure we do to my private group. Okay, Dion? Angela, critical thinking exercise for, let's see, what is this? What does the question mean? Would like any info on critical thinking exercise for account manager tests. By the way, Angela, there's so many different tests. I'm not really sure what test this is referring to, but I can tell you this. There's a couple things that I would recommend you to do. Let's just slow down a little bit and make it as basic as possible. The first thing I would do here, without even knowing what this is about, I would go to google.com and simply just put account manager test or assessment at Amazon. And I'm pretty sure you'll see a whole bunch of stuff coming up with assessments. And one of them is Glassdoor because people do talk about it. The second thing is Quora, and people do talk about it. And Quora is more for those who are more Amazonian or have experiences and they truly wanted to share, and the intent is to help others be more aware. Now, a lot of these assessments are also fairly new to Amazon. They're doing it because they're getting such a high volume of candidacy and they can't keep up with the flow. Okay. So make sure you do your due diligence and ask around all of that. And when you have the assessment, I would highly encourage you to ask that specific recruiter to see if there's any tips or best practices to help you. Because if you were to ask me, or if you were asked, let's just say, an Amazonian that isn't in that group or part of the account management or business development org, they wouldn't even know how to coach you. Okay. But the bottom line is the assessment is to see if you are a fit, if you are the culture fit. I talk a little bit about culture for Amazon. The bottom line is thinking big and diving deep. You don't really have to save the world and deliver result, but trying to see if you are someone who have a tremendous amount of ownership and bias for action. And yes, you can tell a lot based on what people write, how people answer, and what you say. Okay. Congrats on the new space. Thanks, London leader. I pretty much kicked my son out of his playroom. How you like that? He can have my entire living room and I need my space back. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Yes, London leader. So I have done a really poor job of branding. Branding myself makes me very uncomfortable. I should probably tell everyone that I am on Clubhouse right now and I do come on at 3 p.m. On Saturday. Not every single Saturday, but definitely this Saturday as well. So far, I have been doing it 3 weekends in a row. And the intent is to just help you. It's just to help you out. Just come in, hang out. We're going to have a good time. And we are going to take our time in trying to figure out where you're truly stuck and what I can do to help you. And by the way, that is all free. And I talk about that a little bit brief right here. This is my link. Clubhouse, if you don't know, is audio on iOS only. Okay. It's not on Android. That's what I'm hearing so far. But my username is hollylee.co. Okay. Hope to see you there. We can't hear you. Now we can hear you. Oh, great. I'm like, am I talking to myself this entire time? Hungry, let me know if you need a Clubhouse invitation. I think I have some to share. Also, if you are in my pay YouTube community, I'm trying to reserve my invitation because I think we're allowed to have four max for now, and then you kind of work your way up. And because I'm so spanking new, I have 4 invites. I only have 4. So if you're part of my pay member and you've been following me for a while and you're truly stuck, I wanted you to come on so that we can spend more time together outside of the live stream. Okay. So make sure you reach out to me via LinkedIn. And when you do reach out to me, let me know what your email address is so I can send you an invitation. Email address or your nickname on Clubhouse. Cassia says all of the Spain-based folks should connect. Yes, there's a lot of Spain. There's a lot of folks from Spain. Can you tell, Cassia? There's so many of you guys. Spain and Europe. I'm beginning to get a lot of UK folks as well for the London office. Germany as well. 1950, my first Amazon phone interview is scheduled for tomorrow morning, but I had to postpone it to next week. I injured my foot, antibiotics, and they're making me dizzy all day long. Oh no. Well, first of all, I hope you will feel better. And there's nothing wrong with postponing your interview. Just take some time to practice and kind of fine tune last minute storytelling. Okay. And I have mentioned this in a lot of my stream. If you truly feel like you're not ready, don't waste that chance. Yes, the likelihood of Amazon re-interviewing you is very high, but still you don't want to have a lot of your fail interviewed on any company's internal application system. You just don't want that, okay? Because let me tell you why. If they were to re-interview you, you better bet they're going to read all of the notes in the previous interviewer, okay? And also, if you're not a member yet as my community member, the live stream will be saved for the replay for member only. Okay, I'm just trying to put keep the bots away. Angela, where is your job offer from? Where will you be starting from? Yay! Yes. Angela, if you wanted to share with the community, if there is a specific playlist or video that you've watched that you really like from my channel, please do share that. Any tip that you can give how one should be really prepared for the final loop. What was your experience? If there's anything that you guys can share who had already landed an offer at Amazon, please do so for the community. Ramon, hello, Ramon. Interview on Amazon on Thursday. Best of luck to you. Check out this avatar. This is awesome. Have you guys seen Justice League, the new movie that just came out in HBO Max? I just watched the 4-hour movie last night, and it was amazing. So looking at your avatar, it kind of reminded me of the movie, even though it's Marvel and not DC Comics. Anna, question. If I apply for PM role, should my story only focus on projects I did, or can I use stories from when I work with clients as well, SEO? I would say both. It's really depending on how you frame your story, right? If you're interviewing for a program management role, the more example that you have in, for example, someone's going to ask you and how you deliver results, but every single one of your answers should have an ROI, business impact anyway, and how you impact your customer, especially program manager, okay? your customer, your the way how you interact with your customer, it's probably your internal customer or cross-functional team or stakeholder. But the bottom line is you're building a program or product for external user, either B2B or B2C. I'm not really sure what area that is. So I would say it has a lot to do in your specific example and how you answer the questions. I'm happy to review your story on the Friday session. Okay, Anna? I'm probably going to jump on a little bit early on Friday as well. I may do it half an hour earlier so I can spend more time with you guys. A tit question: how to differentiate between a complex and challenging task projects you have worked. It's the same thing. What do you mean? How do you differentiate? A complex and a challenging task is very, very similar. Okay. And when someone asks you, walk me through the most complex problem you've ever solved, or walk me through the most difficult questions, remember when I mentioned that there's 10 or 50 different ways to ask one single question? This is one of those. And what the employers really wanted to see is, do you have the scale and do you have the scope? For instance, when you're given an example, did you just fix a bug or did you fix a bug in the system where it helped build the automation system in keeping millions of users intact? That way the system is not failing. Do you see where I'm going? Rather than saying that, oh yeah, I just put some, Python code or JavaScript and I fixed the bug. That's not really telling the whole story. What is the impact? What is the overall impact? And were your work able to impact other offices or other users or servers across the world? That's a difference between scope and scale. Okay. So the bottom line is complex problem and challenging problem. It's very, very similar in a lot of the way. Anytime when someone asks you either way, however they want to generalize the questions, you should immediately think about the larger scope and scale example anyway. Oh my goodness, another job offer. Yay! Good for you. You are on fire. This channel is on fire, people. This is the 5th job offer and we're only in it for 40 minutes. Congratulations, Padosa. L6 STM position offer and accepted. The videos help. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in. Papadosa, I know that's not your real name. So I hope to see you in the Facebook community so we could learn more about each other. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. And when I ask folks to come back, the one who landed in a job offer, they literally follow every single thing to a T. Okay? So I know that I spend the first 5 minutes preaching about don't reach out to me on LinkedIn and asking me to review your Facebook. I'm sorry, not Facebook, your resume, your LinkedIn, your store, all of that. This is why I am here. I'm already here doing this for you 4 hours a day, okay? And I'm also on Clubhouse as well. So I'm asking you to take advantage of all the free resources that are out there for you and see what works for you. I want you to try it and do it and then get stuck so that I know how to come in and where to help you than to come in and spend even more time not being as effective or efficient in helping you without knowing anything about your background. You haven't even tried anything yet. Okay. So my number one biggest pet peeves are ones who are coming up with a lot of excuses or don't know how to do something without even giving them a chance to do it. Let me tell you why I'm so confident in making that statement, because I have helped a lot of people in 2020 and even now 2021, and they still land job offers every single week. And that is, every person who came to me are completely stuck. They say they don't know how to put their story together. They don't know if the resume is even relevant to like Amazon, for example. And then within a week, we fixed everything together. But when they come to me, they have already tried to fix it themselves. And I can see that, you see? And once I can see where you're stuck at, I can help you be unstuckable by walking you through the right path. And all I have to do is kind of pick you up and put you in the right path, and you're good. Career coaching is a huge passion of mine. I made a post earlier this morning to remind you all that I have a live stream at 12:30 p.m. every Tuesday. And I mentioned in my comment section that, and somebody asked me this, one of my executive client asked me this, and he says, Holly, give me an example of the proudest project or the proudest product you have ever built. Walk me through an example. And I said to him, although I've worked for most of all the FANG company, I've built team internationally. I was able to help companies like Amazon and even Facebook save millions of dollars in recruiting costs. But I don't feel as proud as being in those role and organization as I am now as a career coach, because what I'm doing now is impacting so many lives. People who are affected by the pandemic, people are head of household, worse, people who are single parents with multiple kids, and I'm able to help them find a home within 1 month to several months, even off of my free content. That's what I'm most proud of. So when you guys are thinking about how you want to frame your answer, you have to think of the big boom. Okay, what do you want people to remember you by, guys? What is it? You can't just tell them a story without any achievement. When you have no impact, you're beginning to sound very vague, like a lot of different people. And generally, when I talk this way, the more honest I am, someone's going to give me a thumbs down, like it has just happened right now. But my goal is to be as honest as I am with you. Again, I'm not a cup of tea for everyone, but I'm trying to get the right audience that I am a cup of tea for, which is honest, very blunt, and I'm willing to share every single pieces of my knowledge, of my experiences. And the way how I've coached my coaching cohort, this right here, oh my God, it drives me absolutely nuts, people. When I do get, not often, but several in the entire year of 2020, where four people told me that I am too direct and too honest with feedback. For example, if we are doing mock interview and you're really struggling and your Amazon interview is in 2 weeks, I would simply just beg you to reschedule it and let the position get filled, because there's a bunch more position left at Amazon for you. You see this, right? Look at 2020. They're hiring like birds, and now they're hiring like flies, right? I'm saying that because I'm also from the inside. I know how that works, and that does hurt someone's feeling. So if I hurt your feeling, I apologize, but this is just how I am, and this is what it takes for me to reach the high volume of people and get you in here and get you out having a paycheck with your dream company as quickly as possible. Okay? So if you're going to complain to me on LinkedIn, please don't do so. I am not going to change how I am, and this is just who I am. Alrighty. You're welcome, London leader. Michael, new to your channel, and I love what you're doing. I have an interview for UX UI apprenticeship program. That's so fancy, Michael. Apprenticeship program. Prep call this Friday. Best of luck to you, Michael. Valentina says, by the way, guys, if you really want to get connected and you don't know who each other is, I do make a post on LinkedIn once a week, twice at the most. I don't like to waste time to post if I have nothing important to share or add value to y'all. If you see that someone likes my comment or commented that are from the community, you pretty much recognize the first name. You can connect with them that way. Okay. Again, my intent for 2021 is to build my community of people. Kashia. Kashia says, "Oh, Holly, you are my very cup of tea, definitely." Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Srish, um, my star story, please reviewed. Srish, I don't review your star story. First of all, I only do it for pay YouTube member, and you're gonna break a bank for $3.99 by clicking the giant join button in the video right there on all of my video. And I reviewed your story or LinkedIn profile, your branding on the Friday session. Okay. On the Tuesday sections, this is where I do a lot of the Q&A, answering every single one of your questions, making sure you know what to do so that when you start doing them or implementing them, you come see me on Friday. You see that? You see where I'm going here? That's when I get to have a good time in reviewing your story. Okay. There's no way for me to have the bandwidth or the time to review all of your story, because right now there's 62 people watching. On average, I get at least 60 plus, up to about 300 people at a time. So it's pretty impossible. And I know that not everyone can afford my coaching program or, or anything at all. That's okay. That's what the free session is here for. And I'm purposely picking on those that I haven't heard from. If you're new to my channel, I want to hear from you and see if I could jump in, provide you with some type of resources right away. Oh, thank you so much for the coffee. A couple of you reach out to me with your recommendation. If you are especially if you're international, that's even better. Let me know what is your best coffee bean or ground coffee, whatever, ground, unground. I'm a huge coffee holic. By the way, this cup looks a little plain. Unfortunately, you can kind of see it over here. See, look at that. This is from Bangkok, Thailand. So for the longest time, I've collected Starbucks cup, and I have so many of them. I end up giving all of them away because now I just wanted to simplify my life and not have to think of what Starbucks muck I am going to live stream with. True story, guys. It's sometimes it's better to just be very simplistic. That's why if you look at my description session, this right here, look at that. Look how simplistic that is, guys. You can't miss it. I even put it in the order for you. You just have to follow it. Okay. I am I am Bethany. Hi Holly, past the phone interview stage for IT support, scheduled for the hiring manager tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Best of luck to you. I am. Fingers crossed. Let us know how it goes. Come back on Friday if you have feedback. Let us know how it goes. And if you don't have the feedback from the recruiter yet, that's also okay. We can talk about what areas you think you have done better and what are some of the improvement or areas of improvement that you could have done better next time. Okay. Angela says they didn't ask behavioral questions at level 6. That's really odd. Generally, they will ask behavioral behave if you are a non-tech professional at Amazon for non-tech, I would say at least 80%, if not 100, are all behavioral questions. If you are tech professional, it really depends. If you're a software engineer, for example, generally it's 50% tech and 50% non-tech. Okay, meaning problem solving, design, so on and so forth. But if you're a blend, tech and non-tech, like a technical program manager, you are still going to be asked about 70-80% behavioral questions. I Well, that's telling me, Angela, you probably kicked butt. They probably really enjoyed interviewing you. You've done so well that they don't need to ask you a bunch of questions because you probably had already given them an excellent examples where they're bypassing a lot of what is on the piece of paper because you already met a lot of the core value at Amazon. That's why, because you kick butt, Angela. There's a couple Angela in here. Let's see here. I'm just someone that do the best that I can to provide as much content as I can. If you guys notice, I like to provide content that differentiate me from all the other content creator or career coaches because I'm looking for a very specific niche of audience, right? The overachiever, the ones who everyone is, but the ones who are really honed in specifically are only interested to work for FANG company, the ones who are looking for raw feedback, the one who is not afraid to fail, the one who would appreciate authenticity. Can't talk. Authenticity. Oh, see, English is my fourth language, by the way. So if you think the accent is stopping you from getting a job, I work for all of those FANG companies, and I am still higher. So do not let your accent or how you pronounce things get you in the way of getting that job offer. It has nothing to do with it. Okay. Saima, you are amazing. You are what I call from zero to hero almost overnight within 2 weeks. MP, you made it to the final loop. Good for you. Congratulations. A student for different recruiter told me to reapply for a different position. What does this really mean? Okay, MP, let's talk about you for a second. What this means is that they really like you. You are a fit for Amazon, but you're not a fit for that specific position because I don't know what position you interview for. I can't recommend you for a different role. That's a good thing, right? That means that you probably don't have all of the right component or functionality for that role, but they do wanted to keep you around because they see that you have met a lot of the leadership principle, which is your bias for action, your thinking, your ability to think deep, your ability to deliver results. You answer a lot of those questions very well, just not for the role. And it happens. That's totally normal. Let me give you an example. There are, well, actually, I have so many example. I would say 90%, at least 90% of my customer or more, I'm under exaggerating right now. They have all failed the Amazon interview. And when they come to me and when we're able to work together for at least 1 to 3 months, when they're re-interviewed for a different role, because I have to retrain them, right? And they end up getting a completely different offer. I talk about Gaurav, and he's one of my favorite VIP coaching cohort member to talk about, because this guy felt interviewed 4 times in 1 year, as a system admin, as a level 5. And after 2.5 months, he ended up with a level 6 solution architect. You see where I'm going? So I have a lot of similar story like that. But I would say the most someone have failed their interview is it's 5 times. And there's always hope. And they re-interview almost immediately, right? So before you re-interview for the same role or the different role, you need to fix your branding, because your branding, go check out my playlist. There's 3 short video live stream like this where I chopped it all down. I basically, what I did was I took a 2 hour live stream and condensed it to a 10 minute for you to not waste your time. I talk about fail Amazon interview. It's called fail Amazon interview. 3 times, 5 times, what should you do next? Okay. I talk a lot about branding, guys. So when you're interviewing, even if you haven't failed your Amazon job interview yet, you have to look at your branding RP. I'm sorry, not RP. I have a lot of RP, by the way. MP. You guys are getting less fancier. Just initial, not even full names anymore. Because the way you structure your resume, and that's in my, where is this? Right here. That is my under product and services. You can find my resume accelerator. It's a digital course where I'm walking you through. I'm literally making a 2 minute video clip on every single thing in tearing my entire resume apart, so you can see how I structured them and how I was able to land job interview with all of those FANG companies in my personal resume. Because when you have those bullets down, guys, guess what? You can transfer those into storytelling, and that's how you know your story is more relevant. So enough about that, but fix your branding. A lot of it has to be in your branding. If the recruiter suggests a different role, that means that your branding is a better fit and you come off that way. You know why? When you interview, you come off being a better fit for a different role. It's probably in your branding as well. Okay. Hello, Kelpit. Ayush. Hey, Ayush. Beautiful daughter. Take a look at this. Beautiful daughter. Jahwin. Hi, Jahwin. I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry. Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Catherine says, let me look at you over here. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm trying to, there's a lot of things. Salem says, hi, Holly, and hi, I wish I will have invitation to Clubhouse. I'm trying to find you over here, Catherine. That way, I wanted to make sure that I'm actually reviewing everyone and I'm not missing any particular person. And you know how anal I am, guys. Welcome, Sharon, as the new leadership tier. Yay! Oh, where's my button? Leadership tier. What does that mean? Well, that just means that I'm still going to give you the same equal amount of love, but thank you so much for supporting my work. As you all know, I am a full-time content creator. This is actually my job. Content creators don't make a living out of YouTube, and I do this. I do this for fun, really. I do this for fun, which is why I don't script anything. I'm not reading off of anything. I just want to be raw and I want to allow myself to flow with the audience. So thank you so much for supporting my work. Catherine says, I used S.T.A.R for a $100 million senior program manager role for 3 years. Aced the interview. I'm moving forward, but I'm also under consideration for Amazon senior program manager role, which is the one that I really want, but have heard nothing about. I feel like your message got cut off. Do you have more, Catherine? Well, you let me know how that go, okay? Abdi Salem? Abdi Salem, MP, welcome to my new YouTube member in the house. Everybody, let's welcome MP and Sharon as a new us YouTube member. I'll see you all on Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. By the way, guys, YouTube doesn't give me an option to schedule these live stream. And every week, it's really annoying, to be honest. I have to trigger new links because that's how I live stream and integrate with my software. So all you have to do is put Tuesdays and Friday, and those are the time slot in Pacific Standard Time. If you do it in Pacific Standard Time, it will convert back to your time zone, okay? And that's how you know to show up to this live stream every week. Okay. I want to be a client for you. I work remotely from Africa from where I start. What do you mean you want to be a client for me, Abdishinla? Hasha, thank you for all the info. You passed the assessment. I have a phone interview. For questions, what level is it? Any test during the loop? Reference needed? Relevant LP? You're so funny. Masha, your first question is what level it is. I have no idea what level this is because I don't have the job description and I don't know your background. Okay. And leveling, as I mentioned, is not really relevant. It's depending on how well you do to excel in the entire process. We just heard from other community member where they're interviewed and they're asked that they are a better fit for a different position. That is why, guys, don't waste your time on focusing so much, honing in on the leveling. It doesn't matter. Just focus on storytelling, okay? Your second question is any test during the loop? Well, I'm not really sure if there's any test during the loop. Again, it has to do with how well you do in the interview process. Let's just say that you missed a gap somewhere where you have fell short. Then they may ask you for an assessment. But as far as I'm concerned with the onsite, unless you're an engineer or um, an operation manager or something like that, then you will have to take a math test the pre-employment, not during the interview process or during the final loop process. Okay. Reference needed. Well, again, it really depends on where you are from and if you are through a referral or not. But background check is a yes. If you're asking for background checks, is a yes. And generally, you have to put two to three references on there. Okay, that's just any company. It's not just Amazon. By the way, everything I'm sharing with you guys right now is not just for Amazon. Relevant LP, that's all of it. Guys, can you please help our friends out here? A lot of you guys are asking me, Holly, what are the LP for software engineer? What are the LP for, in this case, risk manager? What are the LP for intern? It doesn't matter, guys. Amazon will evaluate you for 99% of their LPs. And when they ask you a question, or when I ask you a question, depending on your answer, I know if you meet 50 to 100% of the LP just based on what you say. Okay? So do not do that. And also, if you are in the process with Amazon, the recruiter had already sent you a prep doc. I know this because I'm still friends with a lot of them and I see the documents that they're sending you. And they do send you a link to the Amazon career site to prep you as well. And I also put down a lot of the same information. Do you see where I'm going here? Do you guys hear the pattern here? There are so many repeated resources. So rather than asking questions, I would ask you guys to dive deep and search and do your homework because there's so much materials out there. You guys are killing me. Just look under my description. All the links are on there. If you click on it, it will tell you exactly what all the LPs are as well. And all of them are relevant. Okay? MP says, so you interview for a strategic account manager and they recommend more of a sales role. It has a lot to do with your positioning, MP, okay, and how you presented yourself and your story. An account manager at Amazon is managing a global account or managing account, depending on the team. I'm not really sure. I'm assuming AWS in this case, because a lot of my customers are interviewing at AWS for account management role. A sales role is more business development or generating new business, okay? So I don't know your background, so I'm going to assume that you have a lot of, or the way how you articulate your story. And in your example, there's a lot of like building rapport, relationship, earning trust with new customers. So it's depending on a lot of the verbiage that you use determine what role you'd be a good for. Let me know if that makes sense, MP. Hey, Jesus. Kaivya. Hey, Kaivya. I have worked in a technical. By the way, I am now skipping some of you, and I want to go to some of the new member who just joined or member that I haven't showed them a lot of TLC yet. Okay. I have worked, and also if you're asking me the same question as someone else, it's also in here. You just have to rewatch the stream. Kaivya says, I work in with technical company as a project manager. There's a lot of PMs in here today. And support role and being interviewed for a non-technical PM role in Amazon. Can you please give me some suggestion? Well, there's a lot of technical project manager and support. That's really a PM role. That's more relevant to Amazon. To get a job as a program manager at Amazon, you still need to have the technical fundamental. Okay. For example, if this is AWS, let's just say that you're interviewing with AWS payment services or ECP, for example. I'm just throwing it out there. You need to know, first of all, what is your knowledge with the AWS infrastructure? You're not building anything, you're not touching any of the tech stuff, but you need to know the environment so that you can have intelligent conversation with your peers and your stakeholders. Because your stakeholders, it doesn't matter if you're a project manager or program manager at Amazon, you will work with folks and they are going very deep in the weed when you're putting programs or a project execution together. Okay? Let me know if that all makes sense to you, Kavi. I see a lot of technical project manager or technical program manager for smaller company, and when they get to Amazon, they don't meet the TPM bar because they don't have the experience with their systems architectural or design background. And I talk a lot about that in a lot of my video. Okay. Let's see here. Omar. Hey, Omar. By the way, can someone help our friend Omar? Let our friend know what is my recommendation or recommendation of the star answer. Put it in below. Let Omar know what is your recommendation time frame for star. By the way, let me give you a good hint. My first video ever, and that's how important I am with the star method. It's my 60-second elevator pitch. It is a horrific video. I get it. I even have job seekers who made comments such as, Holly, I love your content, but I can't stand your video editing. Therefore, I'm not going to subscribe and I stop watching. That's great. But, and then sometimes I feel like I wanted to respond to some of those and say, well, how about you go and you create your own channel and you let me know how that goes. Let me see your first video. And they start apologizing, right? So, why I'm sharing that story is that I almost erased that video because it was that bad. My eyes were all over the places and I didn't know how to really film and record. Everything that I'm doing this is really self-taught through the last year and a half. Okay. But if you listen to content, I talk about the STAR methods. I talk about keeping it to a minute. And now, because we're still in a pandemic, even before the pandemic, our attention span is no more than 10 seconds. I know this because I asked everyone in my Zoom mock interviewed office hour. And I have a lot of directors and hiring managers in my group. And I asked them, so how many of you actually are bored within 10 seconds? And all of them put their hands up. And you can see, right? I can see them in their eyes when people are fading away, 10-second max. That's why if you're going to answer any interview questions, I will keep it no more than 45 seconds. A minute is really the max. Now, again, this is just how I work. I don't know how other coaches work. I've also had feedback from bar raisers at Amazon who call me crazy, my friends, who are senior managers or PM as well. They're basically saying, Holly, wow, that's really short. Are you sure you can coach your clients to answer within 30 seconds to 45 seconds? My answer to that is, yeah. And over 400 of them landed position in 2020 just by doing that. If you're and I asked them just simple questions. So, just tell me, what are you working on right now? And what is the largest problem you're trying to solve for Amazon? And they took them literally 10 minutes to give me an answer. All right. So you don't want to do that. If you're interviewing for a job, you give somebody a 10-minute answer, a 5-minute answer, you're not going to get the job. It doesn't matter how good you are because they're so bored. They're not even listening to that point. So anything more than 30 seconds, they are really lost and slowly shutting down. So you have to get to it quickly. Brandon. Any specific candidate behavior during the interview that lead to a level down, that is, could have been L6 but the loop declines L6? Well, I wouldn't say candidate behavior, I would say your level of experience, right? A lot of you guys, if you ever have experience interviewing a candidate, this is more relevant to those. When someone is answering the questions, you can tell, one, are they confident by the way they're showing up? Two, the example that they're giving out, is it relevant to the environment and the scope? If it isn't, then it's probably a level 5. Generally, they really like you. They wanted to make you an offer. They don't want to lose you, but you're not at level 6 yet. You need to take a look at my Amazon. It's called Amazon onboarding process. I have a 1 week, 30 days, 90 days video. Take a look at that. Also, take a look at why Amazon, to where I'm sharing my personal experience, even within my first 30 days at Amazon as a level 6. And this is 12 years ago when I started Amazon. Even when I first started, I had to write a 23 or 25-page white paper to get approval from Jeff Wilke, the man, like the CEO of Consumer, basically, and his directs of 14 different business category. And I had no clue what I was doing. And I talk about my scope almost 10x of my scope. And I went from an IC to a people manager literally almost overnight within a few weeks. So that's a level 6. So unless you've had those experience in the past before, that's probably why they went down to a 5. I'm not saying this is just a recruiting example. I'm not sure what your background is, but just giving you a little bit more detail in why they're making those decisions. You're welcome. Got them. Talon. Hello, Talon. Oliver, 45 second. Yes, Oliver, 45 seconds. 7 minutes sounds very odd. I doubt anyone will listen for 7 minutes story. Yes, my friend. No one's going to listen if you go past a minute. You need to be excited. You need to be upbeat every single time for someone to listen. If you're interviewing more like a Google or Facebook where they're both somewhat social company, right? Google has their, what do they call it? What is it? What is their Facebook alike? I don't know because I don't use them. Anyway, they have their own social thing going on, and then Facebook is social networking. So they do want to have a conversation with you. Sure, you can go a minute with your answer, but at Amazon, the shorter you can get to it in 45 seconds, that's highly recommended. Giovanna, just wanted to say oh, another job offer. Yes. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Can you tell that I am on fire? Thank you so much for taking the time and coming in here, Giovanna. Congratulations for all of you guys. Your day 1. Octavia, and I'm skipping questions that sounded relevant to everything else because I don't want to repeat myself and put everyone to bed on here. That's why I am jumping through if I'm not answering your question, because I have answered similar question to someone else, okay? Just finished my last interview. Recruiter asked me to call her some hours later. Is that a good or a bad sign? That's actually a good thing. That's a good thing, Octavio. If a recruiter wants to have a chat with you that quickly, that's probably a good thing. Let me know. Whisper to me and let me know how that goes, okay? Reach out to me via LinkedIn. Giovanni, I just wanted to say I've got an offer and thank you very much for your video. It helped a lot. Oh, thank you so much. MP, wow, you have 2 to 3 stories for each leadership principle. Good for you. If you have at least 2 examples, kudos to you. Valerie says, is there support for new hire at Amazon? How not to hit the infamous wall and how to move up? Valerie, funny that you mentioned. That's what my private Facebook Amazoning group is for. It's for all of those who collaborate and for me to share information. And that's another reason why, if you haven't noticed, the Pay YouTube community member, I'm starting to put out content. For example, I talked about the onboarding process, the basically 30, 60, 90 days. I'm trying to give you a preview of what you're getting into where you don't have to wait for your manager or someone to tell you what to do, and you know how to identify and look for opportunity to build different projects or products. That's the only way for you to get ramp up, because if you're sitting still for 3 months because there is a 3 months rule before they evaluate you, that may already be too late if you're lost during that time. Okay, so go check out my Amazon onboarding video, and there's 3 short clips with that. And I am slowly putting out more and more content for the community for those who are already there. It seems like when I did a LinkedIn poll of different companies, different FANG companies, or even non-FANG companies, my audience that I'm attracted to for some reason, you guys, 85% of you guys only care for Amazon. That's why you see a lot of Amazon content. Updish Salem says, you are a 2-year machine learning engineer building data centric solution, working remotely with a startup. How much time do you think I need to prepare for FANG? Well, when you're preparing for Amazon interview specifically, you need to prepare about 2 to 3 months. If you're starting from ground up, I wanted to say at the bare minimum 2 to 3 months, which is what my S.T.A.R Interview Accelerator is for. It's getting your story ready. It takes you 1 month, true story. If you guys are here, for those who are here 2 weeks ago, I have 2 of my members, I call members and not clients or students, in the S.T.A.R cohort where they're able to land job offers, because within your first month, it takes about 1 month to create relevant stories reviewed by your truly me. It takes 1 month. That is a fact, okay? Because I am going to get you very frustrated by having you rewrite your story, but I will be there for you. I am helping you making it perfect, but I want to drag everything and forcing you to think really big. On your second month is when we work on your articulation, because in the first month, as you're trying to figure out your background, what's relevant in bringing you up from down here to all the way up here, it takes time. If for any of you who thinks that you can get a job with like an Amazon within a week or a couple of weeks, a lot of you guys reach out to me, by the way. Congratulations that you have an Amazon interview in the next few days or the next 2 weeks. I can't help you. I don't take clients who are not willing to push their interview out for at least a month before I work with them, because I don't want to take your money, because can I help you get the job? It's too high of a risk for me to do that, because we're still in a recession. I'm just doing you guys a favor where although there has been 16 people in 2020 who's able to land a job in a few weeks, but those are one of the really rare breed. Those are the people who's been prepping for 3 to 6 months before they came to me. You see that? But if you're starting from scratch, there's no way. If there's a coach that can help you get a job and have one session with you, you shouldn't even be paying for private coaching because it's really expensive. That's why I rejected and declined it. Okay. So if you're interested in things like that, go check out my VIP coaching cohort. It's called VIP, or my S.T.A.R Interview Accelerator. They're all in hollylee.co. But if you're not ready, I would not recommend you to do that. It's not about sending your resume. It's about getting ready and knowing what to put on your resume, which both of that branding and storytelling and mock interview are all covered in all of my program. Okay. Carla. Hello, Carla. I just mentioned that to our friend at this Shalem, Carla, for machine learning position. Okay, machine AI. You still need to know your behavioral questions. By the way, even when you are trying to problem solve in, I don't know if you are a scientist or an engineer. You still have to highlight the problem that you are trying to solve, yeah? And you still have to have a business impact or solving the problem in this case. That's why I talk so much about the STAR methods. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense to you guys and you didn't do this. I want to hear, first of all, which one is the one Amazon leadership principle that you're struggling with. Drop it in the comment below. I will stick around for another 10 minutes to answer more of your Q&A and I will wrap it up. I want to make sure if I'm missing anything, especially if you are in my community, I wanted to make sure that your question is getting answered, knowing that you have an upcoming interview. Bear, I was timing my answer and hitting around 2 minutes. No, Bear. But getting follow up questions and the interviewer kept asking great answers. So who knows? Good for you, girl. Good for you. Okay, let's pick on someone brand spanking new, shall we? Thank you, Michelle. Good to have you here. DJ5 Duck. I had an interview with Amazon last week. Good for you. Good for you, buddy. Let's see here. Let me, oh, Jose, thank you for a lot of the coffee. Do not worry. Remember that everything is a learning process. And I'm pretty sure that you got learned a lot. That is correct. Oh, you guys are throwing me a lot of coffee on here. Thank you, everybody. Ramon, I have watched the video and have done the market research as far as salary range, what I should expect to be negotiating for. And the problem is the range is so wide. The range is wide, but you have to ask yourself, what are you making right now? And what would it take for you to get from A to B? Okay. In general, this is just me. If I were to change job, which by the way, let's be clear, I don't want to work for anyone. My time is done. After spending 20 years in corporate, I am done. It is sealed and it is close. But however, if you're an employer that's watching this, I am doing corporate training and executive training for corporates. Okay. But you have to ask yourself, what would it take for you to transfer? I can't give that to you. You have to know what you want. A coach should not just throw numbers at you, right? For me personally, if I were to change job, I want to make 20% more than what I'm making at least at the bare minimum. And then you got to ask yourself what's important. For me, only speaking for me here, I want cash. I want my base salary and my sign-on bonuses because in Amazon, there's the vesting schedule and you need to know every single detail. If you have watched, if you truly watch all of that, have done your research, then you will know the vesting schedule. Yeah. Does that make sense to you? Okay. And then you'll be able to come up with a plan. If you don't be so stuck on the salary ranges, or you can just leave it open and see what the recruiter says. Now, a lot of you have written me a message and tell me that you feel like you're getting lowball with Amazon. Listen, guys, this is no new news to you all. Amazon doesn't pay all that well. Amazon is the lowest paying company compared to all the FANG company. Even the non-FANG company like Netflix pays more than Amazon. Okay? At Amazon, if you want to be rich, you have to stay with the company for more than 4 years. That's how your equity will be fully vested in 4 years. Okay? So I would leverage your recruiter. Don't be so stressed out over negotiating for money. Have a conversation with your recruiter to walk you through every single detail. And when you're done with that, my friends, tell the recruiter you need a couple days or a week to think about it and then come back to her with a number that you want. Austin, struggling to get application move forward for account manager. There's a lot of salespeople in here for 5 to 6 location within 30 minutes. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Austin? You're struggling to get application move forward for account manager job? Account manager, I'm assuming, AM. I don't like abbreviation. Any recommendations? Well, that means that your branding is probably not there. If you need help on that, why don't you take a look at my Resume Accelerator digital course? Just take a look. It's right here in this link. That's also having you join my private Facebook group where I'm going to help you review your branding and walking you through and forcing you to think big so that you can actually land job interview invites. Okay. And when you talk about 5 to 6 location, it has nothing to do with location. It has a lot to do with what you put on there. All right. Yeah, Oliver, write a lot is it's a tricky one. It's a one that I also struggle with. Please don't ask me to give you an example. Can I do that on Friday and not right now, Oliver? Because I have to really think of one. All right, a lot is is a time where you have an idea that initially or just don't make sense to your leaders, customers, peers, team. Basically, you don't make sense, but you're not backing down because you have your point across. The right answer, the right answer for those type of behavioral questions is to have the data to support it. Okay, um, that's what I mean. I can't even think of a quick example right now because I haven't I haven't really interviewed in a while. Hmm. Yeah, if I were to give you an example, do you care for an example? If you care for an example, tell me. I'm happy to give you one. If you don't, I don't want to think about it. Okay? It's one of the worst for me as well. But I would have to drag out a time where with a lot of these big companies, they're always going through reorg and how I was able to put together a proposal to educate and align all of my business group in all the companies I've ever partaken. But I would use a specific example with specific company and team. So that's how I would tackle around it. Padini, you are waiting for the final round. Good luck to you. Any tips? Every single thing I just talked about for all of you guys, I'm not going to answer your question because I am running out of time here. But I'm going to show you guys this one more time because, as you know, our human being doesn't always listen. Right here, one last time. Okay, let me move over here. You see this? It says, let's take a look at this together while I wrap this up, okay? My mic is sounding a little weird. Let me make sure that. Oh, hey, Louis. Louis. Let me go down here. And I'm going. Don't worry, YouTube members. I will go to you. I just wanted to move back up here. Louis. Okay. You see this list right here is actually in its order. Okay. It's step 1, 2, 3. And when you get to my playlist, the Amazon leadership principle, look at this. I make it so simple for you guys to find. It says top Amazon interview question. Just focus on answering those. Playlist number 2 in this order, by the way, Amazon interview questions and answer. Now that you have the questions and you know what my favorite top 10 LP is, I'm teaching you and watching your hand how to answer them. Okay. And also the third one, strategies and process, because as you can hear from this live stream, everyone is wanting to ask similar questions. The Amazon interview tips Q&A, like these live stream, if you go into those, there's timestamp in those where I'm walking you through. For example, if I do Control F for TPM or technical program managers, if you click on that, it'll bring you to a 1 or 2 minute feedback of interview tips for those specific roles. Okay. And then the salary negotiation. I know that a lot of people say that they have watched it. I know you haven't watched the whole thing. I know you skipped the content. How do I know this? Is by the questions that you're asking me. Because a lot of this video, I'm being so detailed, it's kind of hard to miss those details. Okay. And lastly, the branding and networking to land job interview invites. I created this for you where you don't even have to pay for my services. Okay. You just have to do the work because a lot of these people who land a job offer are this. There's no magic potion or anything like that. And lastly, there's also recommendation for virtual interview. I have a short video where I also included a gear list so you know what to buy. That's just to help you show up on top of things. I can't talk. Can you guys tell? So you could show up, button up, and get ready for your interview. Okay. So now let me just skim through and make sure that I go through with everyone. I know, Louis. How are you, my S.T.A.R Resume Accelerator? Thank you for the course. It's very helpful. Um, Louis, if you have any more questions, drop them in the Facebook group. And my eyes are on your credential. Let me know how else I can help you, okay? So happy to have you there. And to answer your questions, Louis, the hiring manager does have access to the application and the decisions and everything else. Every time when you interview for a position or apply to a role, that hiring manager and that recruiter have access to everything. Okay? That is something to keep in mind. Is that a negative impact on applicants that I made for other divisions? Well, it's not a negative impact. That's why I've been trying to tell you guys when you have a failed interview, don't re interview for the same position until you spend some time in practicing. If you stare at your resume, because your resume is pretty amazing, I remember what's in there, Louis. If you look at your background, when you create your stories around it, are you ready? You pretty much have an answer, right? And the thing that I really want you to think about is when you fail your interview once, look at your answer now because your resume is fixed and it looks pretty, right? How could you recreate to bump it up when your level of scale and scope is higher? Okay? Okay, let me take a look at this really quickly. I'm going to say goodbye now. Our time has come to an end. Okay. Bear. Bear says, yes, Justice League was great. I know Wonder Woman was on fire. I couldn't stop watching. The 4 hour didn't really felt like 4 hour. I was expecting a kabam. Who here think that Batman is going to die in the next Justice League Part 2 because his name is being reviewed to one of his enemy? Yay for job offer, Angela. You welcome, Anna. Oliver. You know what? All you pay YouTube community member, thank you so much. It's not because you have paid to support my work monthly, but you appreciate me and accept me for how I am. I can show up with, you know, I don't know, with my teeth crooked, my lip collapsed on the side. By the way, I have a crown on right now, and it is hurting at the moment. I'm just pretending like there's no pain, but you don't care. And that's how you should present yourself. Not that you shouldn't care what you look like, but when you're interviewing for an employer, you want to make sure that people are evaluating you, judging what you can bring on the table and added value, because you don't want to work for people who put on judgment for you so quickly anyway. You wouldn't want to work for that manager or employer anyhow. Okay. Gloria, good to see you here, Gloria. Sorry, I have not been able to join your live session due to meetings and work. No problem. Good to see you here. Bear, the entire community is roofing for you. And Gurham and Elizabeth, a lot of your questions regarding interview tip, recommended video, I've said it 5 times. You see what I mean by people don't listen to what I'm saying, guys? I'm literally calling all of you guys out. I have literally show you that image 5 times and literally walk you through every single thing. Okay? I walked you through every single little thing. Otto, how are you? Hola to you. Just to share with your community that your method work, it's all about practice and work. Wait, this is the Otto that landed a job offer, right? I have multiple Otto in my life right now at the moment. Very simple, but require 100% effort. Yes, yes, Otto. Actually, let me put it on here because um, I love everything that you just say. Check out what our friend said right here. Okay. You seriously do need to put 100% effort in there. If you don't put your effort on there, it's for you. It's not even for me. You're not going to be able to land any job. Okay. That's as raw, as authentic as I am. And I'm not just preaching to preach because there's so many people. Can you guys hear the buzz? There are 7 people from today's live stream that landed job offer, guys. 7. And we are on Tuesday. Tuesday is not even over yet. Okay. At the very low bare minimum, at the most quiet quarter of the year, which is Q4 of 2020, in average, I have 10 people who landed a job offer. There's always going to be hope. Please do not lose motivation. Please do continue coming here every single week, again, right here, twice a week. For those who are not a community member yet, you can simply just hit join. And you can also, if that's not enough for you, is iOS only audio chat with me like this. Audio where I can hear you. That's pretty awesome. I'm very excited and looking forward to that. And if you haven't already, do not, if you're liking this, you want more of this, Show YouTube that you're loving more of this by subscribing, becoming a member to my community. Thank you so much for spending this afternoon with me. Hopefully, I was able to answer all of your questions and add value to you. And I will see a lot of you guys on Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ciao.